I know you love the feeling of a brand new journal. The weight, the smell, the crispness of the pages, and the burst of fresh air when you flip through them like a fan. And you love the satisfying check of crossing off a task on your to-do list. What you don't love is staring down at an ocean of tasks that make your new journal feel more like a punishment than a productivity tool. With the best of intentions, you wade into the shallow waves and quickly get dragged under, which is to say, the crushing weight of the tasks in front of you can keep you from ever even getting started. Sound familiar? Don't worry, because you are not alone. For us, adults with ADHD, this overwhelming feeling isn't just frustrating, it's normal. But it's not you, it's the systems you're using. So today, I'm gonna show you why traditional to-do lists can actually hurt your productivity and what you can do instead to take back control and get more done, ADHD style. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel where we turn ADHD into your entrepreneurial edge. I'm Mina Raver, and if you've ever written a to-do list just to end up even more overwhelmed, you're in the right place. Today, we're going to talk about why traditional to-do lists just don't cut it for ADHD and what you can do instead. Let's start by reflecting on the top 3 reasons to-do lists don't work for you. Then we'll explore some alternative strategies that might just be the game changers you need. So why don't to-do lists actually work? Reason number 1 is task overload leads to task overwhelm. If you have ADHD, you know that writing down every single thing you need to get done can quickly turn into a never-ending list that feels impossible to tackle. Instead of helping you stay organized, it actually creates a sense of overwhelm that can make it impossible to start anything. This is a classic case of task paralysis. When you see a list of things that's a mile long, your brain goes into overload, and instead of getting motivated, you might feel paralyzed. That's because our ADHD brains often struggle with prioritizing and managing large amounts of information all at once. And if that's not enough, there's an even trickier component. You may have a short to-do list. There could be just one thing on it. But if that one thing has 10 steps and you're trying to keep all those steps straight in your head, that's even worse than having them all written down. So what's the alternative? Well, the problem is magnitude, not complexity. Instead of creating one giant to-do list, you need to organize. Every task has an anatomy, which is to say, tasks can be defined by the skills required to complete them. Some tasks require a lot of movement, some require deep focus, and the more closely related tasks are, the lower the barrier to complete them one after another, which is where organization comes in. To organize your tasks, first define their anatomy. You don't have to go deep, just label if they're focus, movement, or creative. And if you're an introvert like myself, you may also want to label things that are social. Next, group-like tasks. You can break out a new page and write them out together, or I like to just color code with a highlighter at first. You're definitely gonna want a fresh page for this step though, which is break them down. Now that your tasks are defined by their anatomy and they're organized in their separate spaces, don't leave the process of breaking them down to your working memory. Write out each step of each task. That gives you the opportunity to do 2 things. 1, it gives you a chance to get more realistic and a more realistic picture of the time and energy each task is realistically going to take. And 2 is prioritize. It's easier to prioritize when you know how long things are going to take, how much energy they're actually going to take, and how they flow through your day and through your goals. Now, don't take this on all at once. Start by focusing on just 3 to 5 tasks at a time. Prioritize them based on urgency and relevance to your overarching goals. This way, you're not starting down an endless list. You're tackling a few key tasks that will actually move the needle, building on other important tasks, and helping you master time awareness. Cool, right? Now that you know why an endless list of disorganized tasks can feel paralyzing, let's talk about the second problem with to-do lists. Now, we touched on this a bit already, but the second reason your standard to-do list isn't helping you is that they lack structure and context. You need to know why. One of the biggest challenges with traditional to-do lists is that they don't provide any structure or context for when and how tasks should be completed. You might have a list of 10 things to do, but without a clear plan for when to do them and how they are relevant to the rest of your life, it's easy to get off track and procrastinate. So it's up to you to give your tasks meaning. Instead of just writing down tasks, try integrating them into your schedule. Grouping like tasks, as discussed earlier in this video, is a huge help. Time blocking specific tasks throughout your day or week, or even attaching a specific time or place to each task can also help as long as it's relevant to the rest of your life. For example, instead of just writing "do laundry," schedule it into your calendar for Sunday morning because you know you'll be looking for your favorite pants to wear to work on Monday. Big difference. By adding structure and context, you're not just listing tasks, you're creating a plan of action that's much more likely to get done because it matters. And it's much more likely to keep you from adding too much to your calendar. All right, the third big reason to-do lists don't work is because they don't set you up for a successful feedback loop. ADHD brains are wired for immediate feedback. Some call it gratification, but I think most of us can keep momentum when the feedback is negative as well as positive. We just think fast and need new information quickly so we know we're on the right path. But the speed at which a to-do list provides that feedback depends on how quickly we complete each task, and that depends on how complex the task is in most cases. So, to-do lists can feel unmotivating if boxes aren't checked quickly enough. You might check off a task, but without an immediate sense of reward or feedback, it's easy to lose momentum when you're moving into the next task. This brings us back to break down your tasks. But another way to satisfy your need for continual feedback is by incorporating rewards or external feedback into your productivity system. This does not have to be anything elaborate. Sometimes just taking a 5-minute break, enjoying a hydration celebration, or giving yourself a mental high five can do the trick. I'm happy to answer myself. Just a quick little wiggle and on to the next thing. Another option is to use a productivity tool that breaks down your tasks and visualizes your progress for you. Tools like my app, Better CEO. This adds an extra layer of motivation and helps you stay engaged with your work. Okay, that was a lot, I know, so let's go over the key takeaways. The traditional to-do list is a great way to make sure you don't forget anything, but it's a subpar operational tool when it comes to actually prioritizing, starting, and completing each step in a task. That doesn't mean you're doomed to a life of disorganization. You can be very successful by creating a system that works with your brain, not against it. We've covered a lot of strategy as we went along, but let me reiterate. 1, start by identifying the anatomy of a task, labeling each task as either a focus, movement, or creative task. And if you're kind of on the introverted side, you can also label it social. Next, to lower the cognitive load of switching tasks, group like tasks together. Like tasks are those with similar anatomies. Third, prioritize your tasks based on what you have time and energy for, what's due next, and what will actually build up toward the fulfillment of your greater goals. You can add structure and context to your task by scheduling them into your day and giving them purpose. And finally, don't forget to incorporate meaningful checkpoints to satisfy your need for continual feedback. As long as your brain knows that you are making progress, you will be able to maintain momentum. Remember that productivity isn't about forcing yourself to fit into a system that wasn't designed for you. It's about finding what works for you and building a system around that. If this video helped you rethink your to-do list struggles, give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who needs it. Don't forget to subscribe for more ADHD-focused productivity hacks every week. And if you're ready to dive even deeper into how to leverage your ADHD for entrepreneurial success, check out the resources that I've linked in the description below. Whatever you do, remember that with the right strategies, you can take control of your productivity. So let's make ADHD your entrepreneurial edge. I'm Mina. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next week.
Thanks for joining us on Productive with ADHD. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss another episode. And
Please click that thumbs up button below.
we'd really appreciate it. And if you're ready to take your productivity to the next level with tools designed just for you, a high-achieving professional with ADHD, then download the Better CEO app available on both Apple and Android. You'll find those links at betterceo.app and in the show notes. See you next time with more insights and strategies to help you make ADHD your unfair advantage.